Hello guys, welcome back to today's episode of History with Evie. Today I'm going to be talking about the colonies from the early 1500s to the late 1600s. So, let's get right into it. Alright, let's start things off with religion. During the early 1500s and late 1600s, religion in the colonies was defined by the clashing motives of England-European powers, the spread of Christianity through missionary work, and the persecution of religious minorities. So, in simpler terms, because I had to dumb it down for myself too, basically everybody just kind of believed that they were right and they didn't want to hear anyone else out, much like we are in today's society. Nobody wanted to hear each other out or share their beliefs or try to persuade people. It was more, if you tried to persuade people, then you were just telling them they were wrong, and it just caused a lot of squabbles that really didn't need to be had, much like today's society, where things happen where it should have never gotten to that point. We should have just stuck together, worked together, and just talked about it. But, in the earlier centuries, you couldn't really talk about it like that. Now, on the economy side of things, the economy of the colonies was a diverse, extraction-based system tied to European imperial power, primarily driven by mercantilism. Basically, what this means is that the colonies supplied raw materials to enrich the mother country. So, basically, they had to work all the time to supply all the goods that they had. So, like crops, things that they made to supply so they could sell and make money for other things. Now, on a more serious side of things, about slavery. Slavery in the colonies evolved from a fluid, exploitive labor system to an enriched, racially defined institution, particularly in the English colonies. Basically, what started out as just general people being bought and sold for straight labor, it turned into, over the years, racially motivated, treating people as less, basically people of color, buying and selling people of color, and just treating them down, talking down to them, treating them as less than human, and it just being looked down upon and just not equal to everybody else. Diversity in the colonies was complex, with varied significantly by region, with distinct groups of indigenous people, multiple European nationalities, and forcibly transported Africans interacting in different contexts, which basically they were just people of color, everybody was friends, and everybody got along, and everybody worked together. So seeing how that was compared to now, it's kind of upsetting how we got so far off from what we were. But in the colonies, they worked together. They didn't really have a lot of spats about different nationalities and different races and all that kind of stuff. They kind of just worked together, got their jobs done, and moved on with their day. Daily life in the colonies basically consisted of adapting to new environments, a heavy workload, and distinct social hierarchies based on colonizing power. So basically, they got up, went to work, most of them got up, went to work, worked all day, and then just had a calm night. Socially, it was they had a social ladder. There were some people way high up who were basically looked up on. You wanted to be them. They had the money, they had the power. And then there were the bottom tier, which is the slaves and people who had to work every day and saved up all their money and just didn't have it as easy as the people higher up on the ladder did. On time for two big major events. First, I want to start off by talking about the Proclamation of 1763. The Proclamation of 1763 forbade colonists from settling west of the Appalachians, leading to resentment, economic frustration, and increasing tensions with Britain, contributing to the American Revolution. So we didn't get as much resources as we could have gotten if we just could have settled west. But the Britain did not want that, so instead of compromising, we just went about our own ways. So we lost resources and we lost the ability to settle west and move on. And last but not least, let's talk about the Stamp Act. It imposed a direct tax on printed materials in the colonies, leading to whole-spread protests, boycotts, and the formation of Renaissance groups like Sons of Liberty. It increased colonial unity, and though repealed in 1766, heightened tensions and set the stage for future conflicts. Well, now that we got all that off our chest, I hope you'll have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time. Thank you.